AlrightKap over here, and welcome to the Token Minorities Summer Showdown Tournament. I know this is a bit late, I get it, but I finally sat down and recorded some new things. And yeah, so be sure to smash that like button, sub to the channel, show your support, that'd be incredible. And leave some love in the comment section down below, that'd be awesome. And today we're going to be going against Cobalion Tank. I don't remember his team names, but this is the pool play in which we got entered in a pool of 4 teams, including myself, so there's 4. And the top 2 players make it out of the pool. So some big nerds in this, as this is our first tournament. And I sort of drafted this team just for the heck of it. We got Virizion because we got timer stalled out, I guess, so they sort of just picked Virizion for us, and I actually brought in Virizion, so that's pretty cool. And I'll be featuring 2 battles in this little session of videos, just because I feel like that's a good amount. But anywho, let's get this battle on its way, as we can tell that he doesn't appreciate Hoopa U. Whenever Hoopa U, a Choice Scarf Hoopa U, can actually take out a majority of these things, whether it be Drain Punch, Thunder Punch, Dark Falls, or Hyperspace something, or just any of those moves. Those moves actually wreck his whole team. The only thing that I have to be really careful of is Electros, but I've got a whole team to really deal with it. So let's get this battle on its way. As he leads off with the Empoleon, I'm going to lead off with Volcanion. And unfortunately I miss my Focus Blast, which sucks, and he gets the poison, and I'm like, oh boy, way to start the tournament off, Cap. This is what we wanted. So that does, like, wow, that does a clean 62%. I'm like, alright, that sucks. My Wakanberry is gone because I was planning it for the Bull Strike on the Victini. So he's going to save his Empoleon, going to breakfast the Electros, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. Whatever, that's fine. I was predicting something to come in like the Volcanion or the Victini, so I figured I'd go for Steam Eruption. This thing is obviously not Assault Vested, and I'm like, I'll take that damage because that Electros is stopping Hoopa from doing what it really wants to do, and having it at that percent is really nice. So he's just gonna go into Mega Gyarados. I'm like, Volcanion, you did your job. Good shit right here. Unfortunately, you have to go down, and all that power. So I'm gonna go into Spidey, my Gavanch. I'm going for Volt Switch, and he actually stays in. I'm really surprised about this because I'm like, no way is he gonna stay in. No way. I got Thunderbolt or Thunder. Thunder is gonna do a lot of damage, but he decides to stay in. I'm staying into Wall Rose, my Fortress. Figure I get my hazards up. And he's actually just gonna keep on going for this move. So I'm like, alright, whatever. I've got the Katsa Berry. I'm gonna set up some spikes because as of right now, if he goes into Empoleon, it's only way of really controlling hazards. Spidey's my go-to man, and he ends up going and sacking this thing off. So I'm like, alright, cool. Mega Gyarados is gone. That's really awesome for me. I may be down a couple points, but at this point I'm like, alright, cool. I can actually take this thing down with Energy Ball, which is fantastic. That means my hazards are going to stay on the field. Everything's going to be taking damage, and Breakfast is easily not going to take this out, or not easily take this. I'm like, sweet. All of a sudden, I'm up by 1. Victini is in. I'm okay with this. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go into Houdini, as he goes for the Blue Flare, which sort of sucks. Fortunately for me, he doesn't get the burn. And this thing is actually choice, or as much faster than I am, so I figured, oh well, that sucks, but whatever. And now I can sort of flaunt my Florges at this point. I've got the Choice Scarf Florges, and I make a prediction that he's going to switch out. Fortunately, he doesn't switch out, and actually poisons my Tellus. Not Virizion, not Verizon, it's actually Tellus. So he actually ends up having, oh, this is Zork, which I was sort of scared of. I figured it could have been Zork, so I'm just going to go for the middle ground play. If he brings in Victini sort of dies to the same thing. And at this point, Galvantula finishes this battle pretty much. It's a quick battle, a quick simple battle. Pretty simple at this point. Pretty simple. Galvantula wins with Bug Buzz, and I'm totally fine here. Fortunately for me, I have still Florges and my Galvantula. And Galvantula Tank will actually get taken down by Florges. Alright, I thought I was going to just go for it, but he ends up having Iron Tail, and I'm like, whoa. That sucks. That was scary. That got me going a bit, but fortunately we win our very first battle in this tournament, and we'll jump into the next one. Alright guys, so we're back, and this is the second match of the round robin matches, as we're taking on 681 Shadow, and this is a really scary team, but once again, there is no ground types, which means I can take really good advantage of my pivots, that being the Gabantula. And some big threats over here is Medichan and the Superior. If Superior gets up a decent amount of HP, then I'm looking pretty bad. And that's my main priority, taking down Superior. Superior really breaks this team down, just because of the +4, or the potential +4 special attack it can get from Contrary. Luckily for me, I do have Virizion, which can easily eat those up, but pretty much that's my matchup. I'm going to make sure Virizion stays healthy whenever Superior comes in and not let it take unnecessary damage. And I think we'll just sort of get this battle on its way. As I pretty much essentially brought the same team, I just brought in Hippowdon instead because Hippowdon does fairly well against his Haxorus. Haxorus is something you always have to prepare for because it does so much damage if you don't prep for it. Swords Dance is way too good. So he's going to lead off with Dimples. I figured, you know what, he might lead off with Dimples. That's totally fine with me. I'm pretty sure this is Rocky Helmet Hippowdon, which can easily take this. And what do you know, my preparation comes in good over here, and this thing already, we haven't even hit it, and it's taken like 22%, and I'm like, that's awesome. I'm going into the substitute, and I want to see what this thing has. The Cat Will-O-Wisp me, which is really nice, so I'm going to just yawn this thing. Might as well make it a bit, you know, crippled at this point, and I'm playing pretty happy here. I can go for the Slack Off. If he goes for the Willow, that's totally fine. He ends up going for the knockoff, which means he is going to fall asleep, and this allows me to go for a free Earthquake or Roar. If he wants to bring out Superior, totally fine, but I figured, you know what, let's go into Spidey. No references here, his Superior, and I'm like, oh damn, time to take out this threat, and what do you know, hasta la vista, snaky thing. Biggest threat gone right there, and I'm so happy about that. So that's really awesome. I guess he wanted to see what move I was going to go for at that point. And at this situation, it's going to get a bit stalling. So we're just going to put this at fast. And it's pretty much a battle between Volcanion and Sylveon. Just because he can't do anything to me. His Hyper Voice is not doing enough damage to a point where I'm going to be like, because every time he gets to a point where, you know, he's looking a bit shaky, I restore so much more HP, and his Hyper Voice is sort of negated, which means I'm looking pretty healthy here. With the sub up, anything that he brings in potentially gets to a KO'd. So he's actually just playing to his advantage at this point. And shame on me for bringing Flamethrower instead of Fire Blast, you know, stun or die. Pretty much I was like, you know what, I'm going for the safe play. Flamethrower actually pretty much KO'd the Superior. And I was like, just in case it could have happened, I got the Flamethrower. I don't want to miss the Fire Blast. But once again, Stunt or Die doesn't exist over here. I'm just going for Sludge Wave. I'm like, can I get a Poison or can I get a crit? If I get a crit, it's GG at that point. Or I just got to get around the Sylveon. This Sylveon actually tears through this team. If it's a Calm Mindset, I'm pretty bad. But as you can tell, he's just going and trying to stall me out of Sludge Waves. Hyper Voice is doing not a lot of damage. I did my calcs, and I knew that Volcanion actually was a Sylveon without Psyshock, and I get a burn, which is really nice because now it's some residual damage, and he can hopefully reveal to me that if he has a Heal Bell or something. And I figured, you know what, this Mon is pretty much stuck at a point where it can't really do much, and I have to bring in something that can hopefully take it down, because at this point I'm going to run out of Sludge Waves, and I think he could actually win this battle with just going for Protect, Hyper Voice, and Wish, and I'm just clicking Sludge Wave all the time. And I barely missed a KO over here, so I figured, you know what, he's going for Protect. He has to go for Protect. I can get in Houdini and get a free KO over here if I predict correctly. Fortunately for him, he's just going to go for Protect, see what attack I'm going to go for, which is a great play on his part. And I'm going to predict his switch, but he actually stays in. And I'm a bit surprised. I'm like, does he have the Kabai Berry or something? Because this Sylveon is putting in work right now. It is putting in some nice work. So I'm going to go for the Moonblast. And I'm like, am I going to lose Florges over here just because I got a bit antsy with the clicks? Because if I bring in Volcanion at this point, I think Volcanion, I think this Sylveon had Toxic or something. I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know what its fourth move is. It's Protect, Hyper Voice, Wish, it might be Heal Bell. So at this point, I'm just gonna go for another substitute, correctly predicting his, well, actually making just a middle ground play, as he's just gonna go for Hyper Voice, and that's doing a lot more damage. So I'm going for Flamethrower, get this thing down to a decent amount of HP, and I'm like, alright, it wasn't worth it. I need Volcania to wall Sylveon, because Sylveon can take down my whole team. And I'm just gonna go right back into Houdini, as Houdini actually takes out something at this point. Hyperspace Fury is just way too good, and it's pretty much going to 2-hit KO this defensive beast. This is why Hoopa is broken. Cofagris is his switch-in. He doesn't have a switch-in to Hyperspace Fury. Every time I click Hyperspace Fury, something goes down, and I'm looking pretty solid at this point. I'm pretty happy because now I've got Hangry Hip over here. If he sets up a Swords Dance and I'm like, shit, that sucks, but I've got Roar on this thing just in case it gets a bit out of control, and this allows me to go for a free Earthquake or anything up above. He doesn't have Cofagris or Superior, and it's pretty much at a point where he's gonna waste time, and I figured he'd just go for a Fake Out over here, but he ends up making a really good play going for the high jump kick, and it's doing a lot of damage. It is doing so much damage, and I'm hoping that maybe Santurns could take it down, so I'm going to switch out, go into Spidey. Spidey sort of resisted to it. What do you do? Not resistant, no defense. That wasn't a switch in. But Spidey was also not a really important Pokemon at this point, as I can just go for Drain Punch, go for the middle ground play, and I guess it wasn't really that middle ground, as he's just going to go into Cabinary of the Iron Fortress. Nice and reference right there. And I'm just going to go back into Hangry Hippo. This is why I saved my Hippo. Just because this thing is a beast and I don't want it to set up Sword Dances. And I'm actually just going to make it switch out into my Florges, just because he's locked himself into Outrage, and I'm like, this is the best play to make over here, as I'm guessing he's a choice variant of this Mon, and I can actually just go for either Wish, Moonblast, or just keep my momentum up. As I'm just going to bring in Tellus. Tellus actually doesn't really do much in this battle at this point. It only walls Helios. And I figured I could get some momentum, or just try to get some damage off of this thing, so when Volcanion or my some other Pokemon can pick it off. Because everything is at range where I can potentially just pick it off. So Hyper Voice is going to do not a lot of damage, and I'm happy where I'm at right now, because I can just keep on clicking Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade could potentially take out or get a crit on this thing and put it to a range where I can just easily revenge kill it. And that's my whole train of thought at this point. He takes this thing down, and I'm like, this is awesome, because Sylveon is going to go down, or something on his team is going to go down, because every time I bring in Houdini, oh man, something is going to disappear, and that's going to be in the hands of Houdini himself. So I knew that this Hyperspace Fury will actually go through the Protect and take it down, and I'm like, that's beautiful right there. Because that was like 50 or so turns of just Sylveon trying to stall me out. Fortunately for me, I live barely on here, and I can activate my Sandstorm. So he's going to take me out, which is totally fine by me. And I was a bit nervous here, a bit of a nervous Nelly, as I'm just going to bring in Florges, because at this point I thought he could potentially win, but he's Choice Scarfed, not Choice Banded, and I can easily take this Haxorus down. And I was panicking a bit here. It was scary. It was a scary moment, because I thought he could have won at this point, but fortunately for me, I do have double Scarfers on this team. I'm pretty sure I did. I just want to make sure, like, if he was locked into Hyper Voice, then I was like, alright, there's no, like, differential on here. I was just going to make it really close. Hyperspace Fury actually doesn't take me down, and I can go for the Drain Punch and clinch another W for the Vancouver Wingulls. If I haven't mentioned already, we are the Vancouver Wingulls in this tournament. I figured, you know what, let's let the Toronto Staraptors rest up. Let's bring in the Vancouver Wingulls once more. And now we are 2-0. We're looking pretty solid. I think we're pretty much top of the standings at this point, and I'm really excited for our last match, because potentially we can clinch first place in this pool and of 4 people that we're in. and we can move on to the knockout stage. So I'm really, I was really excited for the 2 matches. So I hope you guys enjoy this. This is a quick couple 2 battles. Next time you see this, it'll be our last battle in the draft pool. And thank you so much for watching. So this is Cap signing off.